Anyway, like I say, everyone thought like gold, like everyone was looking for some alchemy or something. It's so funny. It's like, what's the secret to gold? How do you make gold? And it's like, well, first you got to get your temperatures up to about 15,000 degrees or 50,000 degrees or 100,000 degrees. You got to get that pressure vessel as hot as you can, and then you just start throwing in rocks. And that's why they say blister steel, and they show how they're making blister steel. It's like, well, that's not really how you make blister steel. Um, you know, um, but basically you put in, you find the heaviest rock you can possibly find, and then maybe you crush it up into some powder so it'll melt easier. But basically, then you toss those, and you can just toss in the whole chunks if you want. You can just go, you know, there's this great big crane, and like I said, it was a funny thing. They had to spray water on the crane, like when they're lifting, because this thing is at like 100,000 degrees, and so we have this steel or this high temperature crane that's actually shielded from the heat, and like they swing it over, and they have to go, and they lift off the thing. And the problem also was the hook kept melting when they would lift off the lid to take it and move it, and they would just and they would have to hit it with a hose, and then they load it up, and they throw in the rocks and stuff like that. They swing the thing over, and they load, and they use a scooper thing or something like that, because the temperature, like, I'm serious, 100,000 degrees right there at the vial. And then they push it in, push the rock in, and it goes bloop, 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 bloop. And then they take the lid and put it back. And like this crane and the hook kept melting because the vial's at 100,000 degrees or 50,000 degrees or some really high, 30,000, I don't know, some really 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 high temperature. So the hook and I think the hook was titanium. The hook was titanium, and it still kept melting because when it picks up the vial, when it picks up the lid for the vial, like it would start to go, and it's made. I don't know what the vial is made from, but it's made from something really tough, and like asbestos or something like that. I think it might have been asbestos, like a pure asbestos vial or something. It was something that could take 100,000 degrees of temperature. So it goes, like bloop 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 bloop. And then, like I said, and then they put the lid back on, and they let it set for like 5 hours or 24 hours or something, and they say, okay, it's ready, and it goes. Like I forget how. I think yeah, that's right. Everything was asbestos, I think, and they have to use an asbestos plug into there, and they have to plug it at the different levels, and then they go. And you get your metal. Like we were making gold. We were literally smelting, like, pour out the bottom. Gold. Running gold. That's how you make gold. You get it up to 50,000 degrees or 100,000 degrees. It's not a secret. You can make all the gold you want. Just take some granite or some rock. You can even take dirt and you put it in there. And you melt it up, and then you get gold running out. Some amount of gold. There's like 1/3 or 1% gold for every bit of, or something. Like it combines on the way down. It goes, and like I say, by the time it gets to the bottom, it'll pick up all these other particles. As the particles are going down, they like break apart or something like that or whatever. And then as they're drifting down through the mix, they pick up the other molecules or whatever. And so when they get down to the bottom, you get gold. It's like it's on they filmed it. It's like, this is how you make gold. Everybody thinks it's a secret. I mean, they're like, you got the Midas touch. It's like, no, I just got a really hot vial. It gets up to 100,000 degrees or 50,000 degrees. And it took a lot of money and a lot of time to get up that hot. Well, 15 years. It's not a secret. You can make all the gold you want. As much gold as you want. Just take some granite or some other material and just put it in there. And like I say, as it goes down, it'll combine at those high temperatures. Everyone was like, how do you make gold? How do you make gold? It's like, well, you need a lot of temperatures. You need a high temperature. That's how you get gold. 50,000, 15,000, 100,000, as hot as you can possibly make it. So you're probably going to need an asbestos vial or something. Yeah, I think it's asbestos. You need a solid asbestos vial or something. Asbestos and ceramic, I believe. And then you need conductive wire to go all the way around it in different sections. And then you need to... And you need one hell and your generators have to be made out of titanium or tantalum, a conductive yet high temperature thing. Because like I said, those motors, they'll get up to 2,000 degrees, just where it's like heat, and there's no stopping that. There's no changing that. It's just going to have to be, because in order to be at 100,000 degrees or 50,000 degrees over here, you're always going to be at least 2,000 degrees over here. And that's all there is to it. So you got to be able to conduct that heat away and all that other stuff. Anyway, so yeah. So they were great big huge motors, and I was in business, and I was making gold. Literally making gold from solid rock. That's why we mined the whole valley. We were getting gold and all kinds of stuff out of it. So it's not really a secret. And then we mined more. And I was rich. I was so rich. And everyone was like, how do you make gold, man? You're mining it? It's like, yeah, we're mining it. You go there, it's like, just space. It's like, is that a spotlight you got over there? No, that's actually the smelting machine. That's actually a smelting vial. I think it was 5 feet or 8 feet across and made of asbestos, solid asbestos, and ceramics. And had that thing and had these wires, whatever, and they couldn't move. If they even moved even a little bit, and sometimes, I think after so many days, they would sometimes go, bloop. Oh, great. So they would have to stick another one in, and then they go, because it's so freaking hot. Anyway, it's really cool. It was the best thing at all. Anyway, it was over there at the Mirage Mine. They called it Mirage Mine or Mirage Dam. That's where it was. There's all kinds of videos. That's where they filmed it. Filmed all kinds of stuff too. They filmed the gold being poured out too. And it was my mine, so. Hydropower rules. LS. This is LS's mine. Back then I was a real leader I was a real leader. Or a real genius. Well, I mean, I don't know. Get something as hot as you possibly can get it. Not exactly a big deal. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, that's why I laugh at all these people that are like, I'm big shot. It's like, whatever. Did you find a way to make gold? You know that secret? Everyone's always looking, how do you make gold? How do you make gold? It's like, it's not that hard, really. It just takes a lot of power. A hell of a lot of power. And like I say, everyone's using copper motors. It's like, throw that copper out. It's junk. You'll never be able to take the heat. We tried copper. It melted right off the motors. Can't even take the heat. It takes a lot. We used a lot of copper to get like a 6-inch vial. Like to get titanium and tantalum and all those other ones, we used a bunch of copper motors. We used like 130 or 140 copper motors to get one small vial going. And once we got that, then we built the tantalum motors, which were the big boys. Those big motors, those are tantalum. Those aren't copper. And like I said, from those, they were running at 2,000 degrees. Everyone's like, copper. I was just like, throw that copper out. It's no good. It's junk. It'll melt. Can't take the heat. Rodney's like, what's wrong with copper? Copper's more conductive. It can't take the heat, you fucking idiot. Like, how do you get copper melt? Everything melts at 2,000 degrees. You can't, the motors will be at 2,000 degrees regardless. Rodney's like, copper, copper. Copper is more conductive. You can get more power out of a copper motor than you can anything else.